Welcome to the Richard Sherman podcast, brought to you by Superdraft Fantasy. Daily fantasy is broken, and Superdraft has fixed it. Listeners can discover why with their first $5 Superdraft contest for free with the promo code PFF at registration. No credit card required. Download the Superdraft app and play today.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. Don't you ever talk about me. Picked off. It is Richard Sherman. It's picked off by Sherman. Now, buckle up. Here he goes. And it is intercepted by Richard Sherman. Broken up. Picked off. This game is over.
All right. Welcome to the Richard Sherman podcast. We are back at it again. We're headed into week 17. I'm here with my guy, Mitch Eisenstein. Later on, we'll have Kyle Pitts, one of the best tight ends, Pro Bowl tight end Kyle Pitts. It'll be fun.
Richard, we have some tough news out of the NFL circle. Legend John Madden, coach, announcer, video game extraordinaire. I mean, the guy, depending on what generation you were born in, he means something different to you. For me personally, I remember as a little kid watching him in Little Giants when he made the cameo with Tim Brown and Emmitt Smith and Bruce Smith. And, you know, he was always this larger than life living legend. You, after you guys won the Super Bowl, graced the cover of Madden 15. What did that mean to you to have that opportunity to be a Madden cover athlete?
Well, I think it meant so much John Madden meant so much to so many kids around the world. Through video games, a lot of kids learned the game of football. You know, whether it was playing it on Sega Genesis or PlayStation or Nintendo or whatever system you had. I mean, till this day, you're playing it on PS5, Xbox, PC. Guys, it's the Madden name, is synonymous with football in every sense of the word. And to have the honor of gracing the cover was just a dream that I never thought I'd get to realize ever in my life. And it was an unbelievable experience. And John Madden, like you said, was unbelievable to a lot of people, a lot of generations, whether it was coaching the Raiders to an unbelievable record, probably the best era in Raiders football history. Or when he was, making a name as a commentator. You still remember some of the phrases that he would use as a commentator. I mean, even if you're playing Madden, you hear him say "pow, pow, boom," like this guy, that guy's not getting up, et cetera, et cetera. And it was just such a cool era because you remember that forever. You remember those things forever, and you play video games. I mean, it's still to this day, it's Madden 22. And I remember Madden 95 and Madden 96. And he was just such an unbelievable person and one of those foundational human beings that if there was ever a Mount Rushmore of football, he'd be probably one of the first names that faces up there for a lot of people. And it's just a tragic loss.
It's crazy, man. I mean, he really did, I think, the Madden football video game. And not to just pencil him into that, but I think for someone in our generation, Richard, that's kind of where he slots. It's crazy because I remember as a little kid getting absolutely destroyed by my cousin who was 10 years older than me in Madden 95 and running upstairs to my parents crying in tears and just trying to get better and better at that game. And you're absolutely right. I mean, that's where you learned football, and that's where as a little kid, that's how you fell in love with football. What do you... You've already said he slots in as a Mount Rushmore. Have you ever had the opportunity to meet John Madden?
I have. But every time I met him, you have all these questions and have all these ideas of how you're going to be when you meet someone. And every time I met him, I was thinking, oh man, I was going to be cool and be like, yeah, Madden, man, I used to play your game all the time. And then you get up to him and it's just like, huge fan. You're the guy,
right.
And it was just an unbelievable experience to just, it's to be in his presence and be to get to meet him. I never got to ask him anything or have any cool moments with him other than being on the cover of one of his video games, but it was an unbelievable experience altogether.
Richard, let's transition a little bit here. Talk about your game this week. You guys are playing the New York Jets. This is going to be an opportunity for you to play against your former D coordinator. What is it like to go against Robert Saleh this weekend? What is he like as a coach, and what do you think he's done with the Jets?
Well, Saleh is unbelievable as a coach. You know, he's always incredibly prepared, and I know he has his team incredibly prepared. Obviously, it's going to be a competitive game, and I'm looking forward to it. They're going to be great offensively, very creative offensively, and you know they're going to pose a great challenge like everybody else. You know, they're going to be sound. They tackle well. They make big plays. The quarterback Wilson has got his legs under him. Literally ran for a 52-yard touchdown last week, and starting to find his sea legs. And I look forward to it. It's going to be a great matchup out in Big Apple. Is that what they call it, Big Apple?
Big Apple. Yeah. Well, I guess it's in New Jersey, but same thing.
Right.
Saleh always coached with a ton of emotion. I mean, every time it seemed like he zoomed into the sideline after you guys made a big 4th down stop, he was the first one flexing his muscles and hyping you guys up. What's it like to play under a coach that coaches with that level of emotion?
Well, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's why you see his players play so hard for him, because it just shows so much belief in his players. He has so much passion and so much confidence and so much excitement for their success. You know, he's not excited because the team's doing well. He's excited for those individual players' success, and that's what's so cool. And I think that's a reason why he's going to be successful as a head coach, because he's genuine. And even, you know, there was a little mix-up between him and was it Rex Ryan?
Right.
But he's a stand-up guy, you know, and I'm sure he reached out to Rex Ryan and was like, hey, if you want to talk, you know, my phone's always on and I'm always happy to have a conversation. But you know, Rex Ryan kind of was talking disrespectful, and then obviously after Rex had a conversation with the man, his tone changed. You know, there's a tremendous amount of respect, because he knows this guy isn't out here just twiddling his thumbs, and this guy's out here preparing hard every week, doing everything he can to put his team in a position to win these games. And it's just unfortunate. This is a hard league. You know, he went into a situation where the team wasn't as talented. The cupboard is kind of bare. They have some talented players, but they're still building up. You know, they have to build that roster into what they want it to be, and he's the right guy for the job.
Richard, I'm going to say one name, and I want your reaction. Jordan Whitehead.
Man, God dang it, Twitter needs to verify Jordan Whitehead. First off, that's the start of the disrespect. Jordan Whitehead needs to be verified on Twitter. And second off, I mean, you got to see the tempo and the speed that he plays the game with, the decisiveness, the intensity, the physicality. I mean, he makes impacts on the game in so many different ways, whether it's rushing the passer. He gave a sack to Will last week. He freaking had an interception, had a bunch of PBUs and unbelievable tackles in the open field, made big plays, and not to mention how many runs that he stopped just through his presence, where he's just creating piles and sending a running back. And it's the plays that you don't see, and he does it on a consistent basis. And that's what's been really cool since I've been here, man. He's really shown his talent as one of the best safeties in the National Football League, and the tape shows that. You know, I can scream from the top of the mountain, but if the tape doesn't show it, then nobody's going to believe it. But if you go watch the tape, anybody who knows football will say, man, this guy plays the game at a very high level, and he plays way bigger than his size.
Yeah, he had an incredible game last week. I mean, you guys were clicking on all cylinders defensively and offensively, and it's remarkable to see. You know, it seems like you guys, you had that, you know, when you went to the 49ers and with Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tart, you're singing from the mountaintops, yelling, you know, trying to get anyone to recognize these guys. And here you are in Tampa doing the same thing, and they deserve the praise, man. Because
there are so many great players in this league that are underappreciated. You know, Jaquiski Tart, I mean, he's still doing it at a high level. Jimmy Ward should have been a Pro Bowler, and he's still not getting the respect he does. He freaking guards the best receiver on third down. He freaking takes the ball away in the middle of the field. He freaking is all over the place, playing a huge role in that defense, and still not getting the respect he deserves. You know, there's obviously only so many Pro Bowl and All-Pro spots, but you just wish that these guys will get the recognition they deserve. But, you know, it's a hard league. You know, this is, you know, we're in week 17 and with 1 week to go after this, 1 game to go after this, and there's still 8 playoff spots up for grabs, and it's going to be really competitive going down the stretch. You can't even predict the matchups right now in the playoffs, right. And I think it's going to be really cool and really fun. Obviously the league needs to get through this pandemic and get through this COVID issue because it's been huge, and obviously they've shown some flexibility in how they've dealt with things. Obviously the CDC regulations have changed, but it's been entertaining football. If nothing else, the NFL is going to get their clicks, they're going to get their attention, and they're going to get people talking about it consistently.
Well, we've kind of reached, as Scott Hansen calls it, the witching hour in the NFL season, where teams are starting to really emerge. And we've discussed it a lot over the last couple of weeks about how the NFL, made a good change by expanding the playoff field by a team and has made this super competitive down the stretch. You've seen teams like Miami Dolphins, first team in NFL history to lose 7 games in a row and then go back and win 7 games in a row. And then you got a team like the Indianapolis Colts that are, beating teams up, ground and pound, and week in, week out, they're beating legitimate teams. Who do you think? Yeah, I guess we'll start with there. In the AFC, who do you think is the dark horse that has the most legitimate shot to make a run in these playoffs?
Well, that's hard to say because there's so much inconsistency. It depends on which Dolphins team you get and the matchups they get. NFL is a game of matchups. If there's a good matchup where the Dolphins defense and offense matches up well with the team they're playing, I think they got a shot. But Tua has to play more consistently in order for them to really be what they can be. Obviously defensively, they've been well prepared every week. They've brought pressure. They got one of the best corners in the league with the Pro Bowler, Xavier Howard. I mean, it's
yeah. Any Sunday.
Any given Sunday. And with the Colts, it's which Carson Wentz are you going to be dealing with? Which Carson Wentz are you going to be dealing with? That's the biggest part. Their playoff success really rests on him. Their defense is incredibly sound.
Right.
Darius Leonard in the middle making huge plays, turnover machine. DeForest Buckner in there. They have still got a great pass rush. Very solid in the back end with playmakers all around offensively. One of the best running backs in the league. If he can continue that in the playoffs, their offensive line is moving people out of the way. A great running game is always going to be dangerous. Great defense and great run game is always going to be difficult to deal with in the playoffs. But if the quarterback turns the ball over, it can derail you quick.
Right, and we've kind of seen a different Carson Wentz over the last handful of weeks. He's kind of turned more into a game manager and understands his role. Hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor, make sure you don't turn the ball over. And the defense, to your point, is really kind of reminds me a little bit of the defense you guys had in 49ers, obviously with DeForest Buckner in the middle and Darius Leonard playing that Fred Warner role. And obviously he voiced this week that if he played for a larger market team, he'd probably be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, and he certainly deserves that. But switching to the NFC, and I don't want you to toot your own horn too much with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I want to focus on some other teams. Who intrigues you most of the NFC that's got a shot to come out?
I mean, it's anybody's game. Again, it's consistency, and there's been a lot more inconsistency probably in the NFC than AFC. At least you got the teams coming on late in the AFC. You got teams on winning streaks and things like that. But in the NFC, it looks a lot different. You got the Saints who just lost to 20-3. A bunch of guys on COVID. It wasn't really a great showing of who their team could be because they have so many guys on COVID. But then you got Philly, who's been really hot. They've been kind of hot and cold, and they can make the playoff. You got the 49ers who the same way. Is Jimmy G healthy, or are they going to finally get to see the rookie and see what Trey Lance has in his bag, and that can change their playoff hopes dramatically. I think the fans there's been a certain group of fans that have been clamoring for Trey Lance to get his chance, and when he gets his chance, I think it'll say a lot about how this postseason will go for them if they make it. His success and how Kyle manages him. their defense has been playing really solid. Their playmakers are making plays. Nick Bosa's third in the league in sacks with 15 sacks, and that's going to make a huge impact. I mean, he's an impact player, and he's doing it week in and week out. You just gotta, the playoffs are a beast where defense and pass rush can really ruin somebody's playoff chances, and you just need to get in the fight. Obviously, the top seed right now is the Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers playing MVP football as always. I think people have been bored with his success. It'd be cool for Jonathan Taylor to get a shot at the MVP, but how can you do it with A-Rod, producing the numbers that he's always produced? To argue that his numbers aren't better than last season, you just got to check him. He's just as efficient. The interception percentages are really low. Him and Devontae Adams are doing what him and Devontae Adams have always done, and that's why, they're going to make it really tough on the Green Bay Packers this offseason.
Richard, sports is ever evolving, right? And we've seen it when you guys in Seattle had your huge, 5-year, 6-year run there with teams trying to copycat, trying to form their own Legion of Booms. And now we're seeing the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense was one of the worst in football last year. This year, they've got some big-time playmakers on the field, and Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons, among others. The way the Cowboys are using Micah Parsons, here's a middle linebacker out of Penn State, out of college. Everyone's thinking, another middle linebacker, maybe this is going to be a Fred Warner, Bobby Wagner type. They got him lining up on the edge. They got him lining up inside. They're bringing him everywhere. He's now converted into this incredible pass rusher. Do you think we see more of that now, where teams and GMs and coaches are taking guys out of their locked in position and moving them around the field? Like one example, and I know obviously you know him very well, is Bobby Wagner. I feel like if Bobby was given the opportunity early in his career that Micah Parsons has been given, Bobby would be doing the exact same thing from a sack category.
Right, but it makes you a jack of all trades, master of none. It's the reason Bobby has 7 All-Pros to his name and 8 Pro Bowls in a row. It's because he's gotten really good at one thing. It's a cool trick as a young guy, and he's making a huge impact for that team. But eventually people figure you out. You can't be everywhere at the same time. And he's done some really cool and exciting things. But as his career evolves and guys start game planning for him and start figuring him out, it's going to take some evolution. It's going to take him adjusting and evolving. And it's like, what does he play? Does he play linebacker? Is he a pass rusher? Is he linebacker? Is he a pass rusher? And it's been really cool the way Dan Quinn has used him. That's the common thread between this defense and the defense we had in Seattle is that Dan Quinn. He's making it simple for these guys, putting pressure on the quarterback, making sure the D-line is in position. DeMarcus Lawrence and the boys are really putting pressure on quarterbacks, and Trayvon Diggs is having an unbelievable season with 11 interceptions. And you have to give him all the credit in the world for the plays he's making, and Micah Parsons, and we'll see how this defense stands up in the playoffs. They have the most turnovers in football.
This is maybe a little bit difficult question for you, but Trayvon Diggs has been balling. What has he got, 11 picks now? Yeah. He's all over the field, absolute ball hawk, reminds me a lot of you. Who would you rather have on your team? You got to pick one, Micah Parsons or Trayvon Diggs.
Well, I think most people would say the pass rush is more consistent than interceptions. It's a more consistent stat. So the longevity of it is better. Eventually they'll stop throwing towards the corner that has a ton of interceptions. They'll throw the ball to the other side and you become less effective. You become less powerful. Sure, you can game plan around the other corner, but a pass rusher, you can game plan and guys can slide to him, but it makes you weaker on the other side. It makes you, you can dictate the offense a lot different with a pass rusher than you can at a corner. They'll throw away from him. Even if you put him on your best receiver, hey, I'll just put him over here and we'll run our offense like he doesn't exist. Cool. It'll still be effective, but putting pressure on the quarterback is the name of the game these days.
And I think we need to cue the tape on Aaron Rodgers not throwing to your side of the field once when you were with Seattle years ago. It was certainly remarkable to see. Richard, one final question before we bring on our guest, Kyle Pitts, and this ties into the tight ends. Obviously, Kyle's had a remarkable year. He's certainly got an incredible career ahead of him. You've played with a lot of great tight ends throughout your career. Who's number one on your hierarchy of tight ends that you've played with and or against?
Oh, that's tough because it's just so many different skill sets. I played against Tony Gonzalez. I played against Witten. Totally different skill sets than George Kittle and Travis Kelce, who I've played with and against. Totally different skill sets than Gronk, and all of them, if you put them in a game, that the team they're playing against is going to have them top of the board on their game plan, because they're going to impact the game tremendously, whether it's in the red zone. George Kittle was in the run game and pass game. In every way you can affect the game. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't put him in a Wildcat yet. Travis Kelce, the same way in Kansas City. Without him in their offense, it's a totally different offense. And obviously there was different rules with Tony Gonzalez back in his heyday, but he had a tremendous impact and was all over the field in Kansas City and Atlanta. Any of those guys, you couldn't go wrong.
Well, Richard, with that being said, we're going to welcome on our guest, Kyle Pitts of the Atlanta Falcons, on his way to his first career Pro Bowl in his rookie year. That is incredible accolades, and back at it again.
Back at it again. Appreciate you, Mitchell. Welcome, Kyle Pitts. Well, welcome to the Richard Sherman podcast. Back at it again. I appreciate having Kyle Pitts on here as my guest, man. How are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, man. You having a hell of a rookie year as you predicted. Coming in is probably one of the most hyped tight ends, I think. Since I've been in the league, and you've lived up to every bit of it, man. So what you think of the league so far?
It's different. I feel like it's a lot of components that go into it, like on a daily schedule, just moving different. You're not like on a schedule. It's just not like slated out for you, I guess you'd say, like in college where you had class this time, study hall, all of that. Now it's just you come to work, you get your work done, and you go home and you're done. You're
right.
not in practice, you have tutoring, you're done. So it's a little different, just taking care of your body, mentally, recharging. And yeah, I would just say it's a different lifestyle. I like it way better though. Way better than
college. It is way better. Sure. You ain't got to stress about study hall and I got to get to class at this time and got to do this. You study your plays, you go through your tape, and you got time to take care of your body and live your life. Wait till you get to the off season. That's gonna really blow your mind. That's what's really that's where I gotta tell you to be careful, because that off season, you talk about having time on your hands. You're going to have time and more money in your pocket than you have ever had. And,
right.
That's where a lot of dudes either, keep going this way or, stuff start getting rocky. Obviously, you've had a freaking fantastic year. I think they said you're 127 yards away from the record. Is that ever on your mind? Or are you just like, whatever, just keep playing, take it a day at a time?
I'm taking a day at a time. I want to, continue to, get better each week and try and help win. So I'm really worried about winning this week and us, trying to get into the playoffs. If the record comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But for the main part, I'm worried about winning.
You came in and you get to play with Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan, is, one of the best quarterbacks this league has. And, he doesn't always get the credit he deserves. And, he goes through his ups and downs at times, but how has he helped you develop this year? Obviously having a veteran like that, a guy who's had a ton of success in this league helps a guy, and he's obviously got you the ball a lot.
I think he's helped me a lot because he just kind of slows it down. He always tells me don't make it hard. Just keep everything the main thing, and take it day by day. Realizing that and not trying to overthink and do too much or, trying to put too much stress on myself. You just stay the course and just relax and let everything fall into a place.
I've seen you, they've tried to guard you a lot of different ways. They've tried to double you. I've seen backers guard you. I've seen them try to guard you with safeties, corners. Does that change the way you attack the defender, or you just say, whoever line up is going to get it however I give it?
It's kind of a mixture between both, because linebackers aren't as fast as corners, safeties aren't as fast as linebackers. So it's kind of like knowing how to use different tools with different defenders. But for the most part, it's, I want to win either way.
Right. I done seen you push some dudes to the ground, and I ain't going to tell you, I ain't going to put no names out there, but it's been cool to see you develop. I see, early in the season, it kind of seemed like you're a little tentative. with your decision and your route running, and as you got later in the season, got more comfortable. It seems like you way more decisive. You setting dudes up better. You setting the defense, recognizing the coverage, sitting in your zones better. How has that adjustment been for you? Just from this is a 16-game season. You hit the rookie wall at like 10, I'm sure. How has that been? This is literally the longest season in NFL history with 17 games. Have you felt that rookie wall at all?
I would say I try my best not to think about it, not to think, oh, am I about to start getting tired? Is my body about to start hurting? But I would say just from the first game of the season to today, just trying to get better in, like you said, being more decisive, seeing the zones, zone faster, how to do certain things against different defenders. But just from today, like I said, from today all the way to from the first game, I feel like I've, grown a lot, trying to recognize and, play faster.
How cool is the Pro Bowl? You got first season, first Pro Bowl, man. That's huge, man. You can be as humble as you want to be, but it got to feel good.
It definitely feels good. That was one of the accolades I wanted to reach, and God blessed me, allowing me to have the success I have this year, and hopefully having more success. And my peers and coaches, pick me as one of the tight ends representing NFC.
So it's a lot of tight ends eating in this league. You got Travis Kelce, you got Kittle, you got a lot of dudes making a ton of plays in this year. You got yourself. You got Gronk. You ever find yourself, nitpicking anything from their games, to put in your game as you develop, or you just, try to kind of blaze your own trail?
I would say definitely. All three of those guys have different play styles, in my opinion. Like Gronk is a more physical route runner. He's more technical. Travis is more like smoother they're all smooth, and then you got Kittle, who's a yak guy, you know what I'm saying? So it's like just seeing how they kind of do certain things on certain routes against certain people. I kind of like to, watch some of their tape and, try and steal some of what they're doing and try and help me.
What do you think prepared you best for this journey? Obviously everybody has dreams of getting to the league, dreams of making a Pro Bowl in their first year, et cetera, et cetera. But, it's a long journey to get to the league. You go through high school ups and downs, you go through college ups and downs. What was the turning point for you where you felt like, man, I'm that guy and I'm gonna make it? Or did you always just feel like that?
No, I would say, confidently speaking, I always thought I was that guy. But just, keep my head down, just grinding each day, just trying to outwork myself, just because at the end of the day, it's, if I can play at my highest level, I think, that's pretty good.
Right. And it's obviously been good enough. And it's a lot more meat on the bone. How hard you going to play in this Pro Bowl? We got 2 games left, but, it's going to take you a second to adjust to how dudes play. And, some dudes play hard, some dudes don't play hard, but you seem like one of those dudes. If you're going to strap it up, you're going to go give it your all.
We'll see.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it, man. You got wife, you got kids, or you just single and mingling right now?
No, I got a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend. I don't have a wife or kids right now.
Okay. Well, shoot, I'm happy to hear that. You got a long way to go, and a lot of times that's a big factor as you kind of grow into this league, having somebody solid by your side and making sure your stuff off the field is taken care of. You can just focus on the game and everybody's life is different, but I'm sure you found your good one, and that's gonna be sweet.
Weren't y'all going to the playoffs here your rookie year? Like when things started to get long, like how did you just keep your head down and just, even though it got because around this time last year, I was around this time declaring, and just chilling on the couch, and now it's 2 games left, potentially it's 2 guaranteed left, but it's potentially more that's, on the table. But just knowing to just keep pushing it, how did you take care of your body and get away from football, mentally and physically?
It's talking to your vets, a lot of times. And it's what you just said, it's taking your mind away from football sometimes, whether it's, just a date night with the old lady, or it's video games, talking to your boys, or it's, whatever it is. Some dudes is just freaking reading books and, playing card games or doing whatever you do, like you have to have it. You have to have something to detach you away from this game because it's too much stress and anxiety and too much focus in this game. You know, no matter who you are and how good you are, like it's almost stressful being good. Right. You know, the better you are, the higher level that you hold yourself to, the more stressful it's going to be. And you're going to be sitting there like after 10 years and be like, man, I got all these awards and accolades and Super Bowls and I had fun, but I didn't enjoy it because ain't no time to enjoy it. Ain't no time to enjoy being great. Right. And so I think the important thing was taking those moments, especially on the Tuesdays, the day offs, you know what I mean, to really like, hey, I take care of my body. I go in, I get my tape, but after that, I'm off. Like I am not a football player on this Tuesday. Like I'm dad. I'm over here with the old lady. We got our movie night. I'm chilling on the video games. And as you get through the playoffs, don't make the game bigger than what it is. Like it is winner take all and loser go home. But I mean, if you kind of feel like that every week, like everybody got to get it every week. And so I think when you get to those playoffs, you get on the field, you feel the atmosphere, and then after the first snap, just like everything else, you're gonna be like, oh, this is just football. You about to get it.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's fun. I can't wait till you get your first taste of it, man. It's gonna be. And what I'll tell you about the Pro Bowl is just enjoy it. Like, don't try to be. That's not one of those moments where you got to be too cool for school and just be like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like yeah, I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm always here. Like, enjoy it. You may go to 15. But enjoy the first one to the last one like they're your last. You know what I mean? Like it's always gonna be different players, gonna be different families. Like get to enjoy the camaraderie. Like a lot of times these are the best players in the league, and you one of the best players in the league. Enjoy being part of that group. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we get caught up with just like, man, it's just another game, and just like that. Like the Pro Bowl ain't just another game. Pro Bowl really, I mean, it really ain't a game at all. You're gonna get out there and dudes is half the old line drinking beer before the game, and you know what I mean. But the corners and receivers, now the linebackers is hitting, and the corners and receivers is going at it. So like they not. It's gonna be real out there. But the old line and D line be brother-in-law sometimes. But
okay.
But I would just say try to enjoy the full experience, man, because I think sometimes you get there, and I only got to actually go to 2 of the 5 that I got picked for because of the Super Bowl. We went to 3 of the years I went, we went to Super Bowl, so I didn't get to go. But I enjoyed the hell out of it because it was like, shit, you never know when you're going back. You know, you always think, like, I'm going to be the best forever, but shit.
Right.
But I appreciate you, brother. I don't want to take too much more of your time. I appreciate you coming on with me.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm going to add you on Twitter, and I'll probably send you a jersey if you want one. We exchange.
Okay, definitely.
Welcome to the Richard Sherman Podcast, brought to you by Super Draft Fantasy. If you're a real football fan, you know that daily fantasy is broken. Super Draft has fixed it with their new game, Super 15. Listeners get their first $5 game for free, no deposit required, with the code PFF at registration. You know the game. Pick your best 5 players off the grid with $15 in salary and let it ride. It takes less than a minute. Watch me pick a new lineup every week and see if you can beat my score. Download the Super Draft app and see if you can beat me to win cash prizes. Just use the code PFF at registration for your first $5 contest free. No credit card required to claim the offer. Offer only eligible for new accounts. Welcome back to the Super Draft Super 15 contest. Somehow, some way, I feel like they're cheating. Mitchell got a win. Somehow I'm 3-7. I don't know. I feel like there was some discrepancies in there. I was up 16.5 points, and somehow I lost. I don't know. But this
Richard,
week,
as DJ Khaled so famously said, all I do is win, no matter what. So we'll start it off with that. Another dub. Dude, I'm on cloud 9. How does it feel not to even breach the half century mark? I think this is probably the 6th time you've done that this season.
I'm calling BS on it. I'm calling BS. I feel like there's there's an error in here somewhere in this scheme. You know, I feel like my points aren't being added up properly, and I need to understand that. But
we can, we can get you a recount if you want. You know, that's all fair here.
I'd take a recount and you know what I mean, steal the vote and all that stuff too.
Sure.
This week, I'm going with for my $5 pick. Forget that. I'm not going with a $5 pick. Forget all that. No, I'm not going with a $5 pick. They have yet to pan out for me. And it's all quarterbacks and Jonathan Allen, and changing it up this week. This week, I'm going with Joe Burrows, PFF's highest graded quarterback, with a $4 pick. I am going with Cooper Kupp. They project him to be the highest scoring receiver in week 17. That's $8. I'm going with Stephon Diggs, brother to Trayvon Diggs. Come on now. I got to get it. That's $11 and 3 picks. And then I'm going with two $2 picks. And Ronald Jones, my teammate, we played the Jets this week. And and I go with Christian Kirk, big play receiver for the Arizona Cardinals. I need you to eat. They have so many receivers, it's hard to pick one, but I'm going with Christian Kirk.
I love that strategy, Rich. You know, you've always seemed to be a week behind. You remember when you drafted the wrong Josh Allen a few weeks back? And now you're taking Joe Burrow a week after he throws for 500 yards. So we'll see how that works out. I'm gonna go with a $5 pick, and I'm gonna go with Mr. Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs have been playing pretty darn good, and he got it done without Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill was pretty much a non-factor last week, and he still put up a ton of fantasy points. So I'm going with Patty Mahomes as my top dog. Then I'm going to go his running mate, $4 choice, Tyreek Hill. He had a down game. What are the odds, Richard? You're a professional here. What are the odds that he has 2 down games in a row?
I hope the odds are high because I need it to happen.
I'm gonna go with the odds being very low. I'm going Tyreek Hill here. So then my $3 choice, and this is where I'm hedging my bet against you. This is called being smart, Richard. I am going with Jamar Chase, because knowing that you've got Joe Burrow, if he throws my boy Jamar Chase a touchdown, well, guess what? I get 2 extra points than you get.
We're going to T. Higgins, and we're going to Joe Mixon.
We'll see about that. And then $2 choice, I'm going with the Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's come on of late. The Detroit Lions have actually been playing pretty well of late, strategically losing, staying low on the draft order, which is great for a Detroiter. But, the Sun God broke a bunch of rookie receiving records for the Lions. I think he keeps it up. He had 11 targets last week. They're going against your old Seattle Seahawks, Richard. I hope he catches at least 6-7 balls and gets in the end zone. And then finally, I'm going with today's guest with $1 choice, Kyle Pitts. PFF's highest graded tight end, going to the Pro Bowl, $1. That is an absolute bargain. That is my winning roster of the week.
I don't like how you said that, guys. I don't like Mitchell's winning roster of the week, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But thank you very much for listening to our Super Draft Super 15, obviously brought to you by Super Draft. If you want to get involved, use the promo code PFF for your first $5 game free. No strings attached, no credit cards required. Get signed up, download it now. You know the deal. All right, thank you guys again for checking out my podcast. I appreciate you. It's week 17. We're going to have another good podcast with another great guest next week, week 18, the final week of the regular season. It's going to be exciting. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll check out my podcast next week, and we're going to keep this thing rolling. Appreciate you rocking with me.